What makes Zelos Zelos, you might ask yourself sometimes? Let me tell you what I think. The willingness to take risks that seriously nobody else does, the enthusiastic fan base that get behind every release, and hey, let's not forget the brilliant quality and genuine innovation. All these things add up to, at the very least, a hugely fun and exciting microbrand still to this day. There was a comment in a Zelos forum recently about how some of the designs are getting too out there and would date over time. It was interesting to read Elshan's reply in that the more vanilla releases are the slowest to move. So what does that tell us? My take is that the fans love the more exciting and unusual releases. And as frustrating as limited releases can be, there is no question that they work to drive demand and value over time in the collectability. From that perspective, it is with my most teal-colored glasses that I bring the highly individual Blacktip Teal Meteorite model to you today, with its almost braille-like bezel that's blacked out. Getting the white balance right here to show you the actual color is not easy, but I will certainly try. I sometimes think about Zelos manufacturing partners. Surely they have well-exercised eyebrow muscles by now, or have they simply stopped raising one when the spec lists come in, one ponders. I hope you join me for the full rundown of this fun new release from certainly one of the most exciting microbrands still to this day. The packaging is still brilliant, and I couldn't tell you if this is a coincidence or not, but this black 3-slot watch box has a teal interior to match this watch. It's still an absolute boss move to bring such a fine watch box and second to none value add that still amazes me in this price range. Let's get stuck into the specs here. It is just a tad under 41mm in diameter and 47.5 lug to lug. Lug width is 20mm and it is 12.7mm thick. On bracelet is 176 gram and we get a 200 meter water resistance. This dial is clearly very exciting to say the least. My favorite view is actually the side on, since this organic meteorite pattern catches the light so well, and in this color it's actually almost a bit matrix-like, or maybe even like a flower bed of sorts. You may have already dismissed this version, but don't is my advice. It's actually quite something to behold. The applied Zelos logo is flawless as per usual, and the challenge of printing the model name and water resistance on this surface is met remarkably well. A matter of personal preference is this font. It's not my favorite, but I hope it doesn't bother you, its future owner. A color match date wheel is a nice detail. My long-standing criticism of Miyota's date approach is the relatively tiny double-digit dates that I feel are too hard to see. Seiko and Solita do a much better job here. The applied indices are all very good, and I enjoy the 12, 3 and 9's almost gothic cathedral look. And this is replicated in the hour hand, which you'll find in the Lume shots later, which can look quite amazing indeed. If I had to find a fault, it is that under extreme macro, as in only an ant would be bothered by this, some of the lume is not applied all the way to the corners of the upper edges. But trust me on this, you will never notice, and it's just my usual unreasonable nitpicking. Incidentally, or should that be indecently, how good is it to see this blue shade on the hands somehow working so well against the teal? It is perhaps also categorized as teal. It's hard to tell, but the point is, it works. The bezel is not for everyone with the race numbers and blacked out. But here's the thing, yes, its blacktip namesake shark is referenced. But here you also have tips for your fingertips, and they are black. So we have a black-tipped bezel. And I tell you what, it is an absolute delight to turn. Buttery smooth, and I feel that even with wet hands, you'd be able to do so easily, even with this tapered, attractive edge. The Lume peep stands out nicely on this black, so it's actually quite usable too for keeping an eye on time spent under the surface. This is Zelos' answer to a skin diver style apparently. I think it's too big overall to meet that aim. But again, every time Zelos release something a bit smaller, I note the naysayers, so I get it. The case is thicker than I would expect, but the sloping lugs and brushed and polished details work nicely together. An unprotected crown is certainly on style, and Lume too just for fun. Hats off for drilling the lugs too, despite the bracelet being quick release. That's a nice way to look after those of us that like to try options on our watches, and I will do that as per usual later. Behind the lovely blacktip shark motif, which you may have seen in person if you've ever dived or snorkeled on reefs, hide the Miyota 9015 automatic movement, the hacks and hand winds. It is the darling of microbrands due to its reliability, and the only complaint I have is the size of the dates on the date wheel. Now this bracelet is ridiculous for the money. It is so good. Soft to the touch, rock solid end links fit, and Zelos have led the way with push button on the fly micro adjustment on the buckle. That is in my opinion the very best way to do this. And it's making some of our friends from the heavy hitter Swiss brands look like they are stuck in yesteryear. Screw pins in the links means it's very easy to adjust, and the brush finish means it'll stay attractive forever likely. So that's good, but what if you're more of a strap person like me? Well, let's have a look and see what we can pair this one with today. The combination of C3 and BGW9 is not quite as out there as what Zelos sometimes offer, but is certainly class leading as per usual. This is a great new release, and here's something you don't hear every day. It is launched at exactly the same price as the original steel blacktip, which was launched in 2021 with no inflation and improved build quality. Models start at a brilliant $399 and this meteorite version at $499 is limited to 150 pieces. At that price, I think the value is off the charts, and as discussed, so is the individuality. So on that, it may seem a bit out there with its color combo, but the more I wear it, the more it grows on me. We have enough black and white watches, Lord knows I do, so why not have something that reflects the light beautifully on your wrist and may actually draw a glance or two, I say? Go on, live a little, my friends. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.